every time. Every time you come in, well, I'm going to hit you. Let's go. You don't want no problem, bro.
Welcome to the Zone Coverage Football Show, your pre-game build-up to NFL Sundays.
It's about to get ugly. I'm eating burritos bigger than you. You're having one of those days. Hey, baby, you're having one of those days.
Coming at you live from Tees Towers is your host, Mark Tees. Good afternoon, it's Happy Pigskin Day. Like a small child on Christmas Day, Pigskin is finally upon us. I do hope that everyone is well, wherever the hell you are, celebrating the most wonderful day in the calendar. And yes, I informed the wife this morning that Pigskin every Sunday until Valentine's Day. The look on her face was absolutely priceless. So shout out there to all the other halves who will be suffering for the months ahead. Right then, let's get into the show. As you should know by now, and you might be new, I'm your host, Mark Tees. Zone Coverage Football Show is your pre-game build-up to Pigskin Sundays. The next 90 minutes we delve into the wonderful world of Pigskin. So we'll get some nitty-gritty, some of the formalities out of the way. First up, listening live. You've got a couple of options here. You can either do that via the TuneIn app or the Spreaker app. And the cool thing with the Spreaker app, there's a live chat room. And I'm very happy to say the chat room is absolutely full already. We've got Terry in there, John's in there. Who else is in there? David. The list goes on and on. Robert's in there as well. Good afternoon, everyone. Failing that, if you can't listen back in the form, live even, do it in the form of a podcast. You can do that by checking us out on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud. And while you're there, do us a favour. Please just leave us a rating, ranking, and it helps get the show bumped up. Give us a bit of notice and all that. So that'd be very much appreciated. You can also connect with me via social media. You'll find us on Facebook, Google+, Instagram. Also, feel free to tweet me at Zone Coverage FS. Pleased to announce that all avenues of communication are now open, so you can do there. Call and text the show on 07444 048 266. You can also Skype me if you are overseas. That's T-Smister, T-E-E-C-E, Mister. You'd think by now 53 shows and I'd know I say my own sodding name. Right then, we are back into our season form. So if you are new, this is the lay of the land. Basically, we have the hot route coming up in a moment where you get to vote for your favourite play of the week. And that's going to be from the Thursday night game. The Patriots and the Steelers are going to play that in a moment. We're going to run through the NFL news, an update of everything that we've had over the last 7 days. We've got fan versus fan. That returns, so I'm looking forward to that. Fan favourite last year. We're also going to go to the Love Line, going to do some game previews. We have fantasy advice coming at you from the guys at Dundee. NFL, fourth down and out, the guys there. And then we have the last minute injury news, team news from Tom, who's actually just jumped in the chat room. Good afternoon, Tom, via Huddle Magazine. So we're looking around about 4 o'clock of fan versus fan, 4:30 for your fantasy advice, and around about 4:45, 4:50 for the last minute news. Ant's in there as well. Good afternoon, Ant. So there's an abundance of excitement within the chat room. It's making me nervous. I'm kind of excited. It's absolutely buzzing. Pigskin is back. Loving the chat in the chat room. So if you are listening via tune in or whatever and you're like, what's this chat room? Head on over to Spreaker.com. Sign up. It's all free. So it's Zone Coverage Football Show. Drop in the chat room. There's a lot going on. So looking forward to that. Just going to check in on Twitter. So that is at Zone Coverage FS on Twitter if you want to tweet the show as we go. You can also text in as well. That is 07444 048 266. So if you want to do that, do feel free to do so. If I can find my Twitter today. Twitter looks very busy. Check that the phone lines are on. Awesome. So we're going to get to the hot route in a moment. And again, if you're new to the show, what I do is we've got some clips from the plays of the week. And what we're going to be doing now is you've got to vote in. I'm going to make you do some work. This is how you've been sitting back, chilling, relaxing, as we all have in this chat room over the course of the off-season. I much appreciate all the retweets and banter that we've had doing that. So it's time for you guys to do a bit. So right then, what do we have? Quite a lot of tweets. I've been talking to various people throughout the course of the day. If I've missed you, I do apologise. But John Bradshaw, I've been talking to Jody, Oliver, the guys at Fourth Down and Out. Cameron's been tweeting, John, Simon. The list is endless. It's fantastic. Like I say, the chat room is full. And Tom says he's keeping an eye on the teams right now. Right, also we did the fantasy draft last week. It took a good hour or so, and I do believe Sean got shafted by the auto draft because he couldn't make it in, and it picked Jordy Nelson for him. That's led to much bemusement within the chat room, so that was nasty there and not good. So, right then, let's get into it. Let's get into the formalities of the show. We're going to hit up with this week's Hot Route.
Hot Route. Vote for your favorite play of the week.
Right then, Hot Route. Like I say, I'm going to play you some clips from Thursday night game. You guys are then going to vote. That vote's going to be afterwards. I will tell you now that we've got a Gronkowski's second touchdown, Scott Chandler's touchdown, and the Will Johnson touchdown. So I want hashtag Gronk, hashtag Chandler, hashtag Johnson. Tweet them into Zone Coverage FS. I'll also take them in the chat room as well. We'll keep an eye on that. So here are your plays of the week.
Hot Route. Vote for your favorite play of the week.
On the Pittsburgh 6, Brady under center. Single back is Bolden. Brady stands up. He says something to the right side of the line. Turns around, says something to Bolden, his running back. Under center, he gets the snap. He fakes the handoff. He cocks his arm, arches a pass back at the end zone. Leaping, two-handed grab under the crossbar. Gronkowski! He's done it again! Second touchdown reception tonight. Terrific camouflage by Brady. And he lofts a beautiful high pass, leaping with the two-handed glove catch under the crossbar while double-teamed Gronkowski. Second and goal at the 1. Brady under center, turns around. He sends one of his tight ends in motion. He's got 3 wide. He looks to the left. He gets the snap. He drops back 2, throws a short pass in the end zone. It's a twirling two-handed catch on the goal line and grabbed by the tight end, Scott Chandler. A 1-yard twisting and turning and heavily covered ball that was grabbed and latched onto. He crosses the plane, touchdown. New England. Tom Brady has just thrown his 3rd touchdown pass to a tight end for the Patriots tonight. Roethlisberger under center with an I formation. Hand off to Johnson. Runs over the left guard. He tries to slice into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. With the big fullback Will Johnson playing the role of running back with the suspension of Bell. He slices in from a yard away, and Pittsburgh is back on the board with their first touchdown tonight.
There we have it. Those are your Hot Routes. There, obviously, only one game this week, and it's the only ones I can get the calls of. So again, hashtag Gronk, hashtag Chandler, hashtag Johnson. Get your votes in via Twitter at Zone Coverage FS or via the chat room. John McDonald, this was sort of a theme from the back end of that game. By the way, who leaves Gronk so unmarked? Yes, the Steelers secondary looked an absolute mess at times and looked more like communication errors. It was absolutely shambles. I don't understand, how does Gronkowski get a clean release over and over and over from the line? Get up in his face, give him a jab under the chin, sort him out, give him a wrestle, give him a run for his money. You can't just let him go and do as he pleases. Also, I also felt that the Patriots, to be honest, bit soft up the middle run game. Why? So you could run on him. D'Angelo Williams looked very good. Steelers could have won it. Pats did win it in the end. It was a decent game in all fairness. As a team, both had missed opportunities. It could have been a high-scoring thriller of a game. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Pigskin is back. So keep these votes coming in, by the way. We've got a couple in for Gronk already. Can you vote twice? No, you can't vote twice. The more votes for Gronk, the less I will mark down. So, yeah, Gronk's running away with this one already. So, keep those coming in. We'll give you a reminder of those plays as we roll through the course of the show. And as a reminder, as we go through the show, we've got fantasy news coming up around about 4 o'clock. We've got fan versus fan at 4 o'clock. We're going to do the fantasy news at 4:30. Then the last minute news. I know there's a few questions going in the chat room already, and Tom is doing his best there to answer those. Right then, let's get into some NFL news. NFL news. Alrighty then, so first up on the docket this week, the BBC. There's a new deal with the BBC, which we're getting Pigskin on terrestrial TV. They're going to be covering the Super Bowl. It's going to be on TV, radio, and online. There's also going to be a weekly highlights show. That's going to run on BBC Two and online from early November. Will Davies mentioned this a few times to me during the week. Why is it starting in November, the highlights show or whatever? I don't really know, a bit of a head scratcher, but good news is that we do get some matches on terrestrial TV. And talking of terrestrial TV, if you're one of the unfortunate few that doesn't have Sky, I do believe that tonight's Packers-Bears game is on a channel called Pick TV. A few people have sent this my way. I know Will did it. There's someone else in the fantasy chat room on Facebook as well. So that's on at Pick TV. So if you go to your listings, search for Pick TV, check that out. I'm curious. I'm going to be watching the Jets-Browns, the early season toilet bowl. So if anyone lets me know what the coverage is like on Pick TV, is it the American broadcast? Is there someone in the studio? And I do pray that it's not Colin Murray. Shots fired. Yes, we're back. Anyway, so that is that. Pick TV, BBC TV. So that's good news for those without Sky and the Game Pass. Right then, yeah, and confirms that. Pick TV from 5 o'clock, so appreciate the heads up there. And right then, back to the news then. The Cleveland Browns announced on Monday that O-line coach Andy Moeller, he's been suspended indefinitely by the team. There was an incident last weekend, allegations via a woman. She's since tried to retract these allegations, but as it's already been processed, that's sort of ongoing. Apparently he's been in trouble before, something to do with a DUI when I do believe he was a Ravens coach, something like that. Very, very sketchy. The Browns are off to a cracking start there, so I'm sure Simon will be over the moon with that. Moving on to the Tennessee Titans, they acquired running back Terrence West from the Browns in exchange for a conditional 2016 draft pick. Veteran wide receiver James Jones, he is back with the Packers just days after he was cut by the Giants. The Seahawks traded Christine Michael to the Cowboys in exchange for an undisclosed 2016 draft pick. That was announced late last Sunday. It's going to be interesting what happens with this Cowboys running game. One of the main questions that I have in my mind going forward for this team, they're quite arrogant, thinking that they can plug and play anyone. Will this backfire? Christine Michael, a lot of promises. He came out into the draft a couple of years ago. A few questions about his character and his maturity, and if he can grasp a playbook, if he can get it down, Cowboys should have a decent back in the form of Michael there. Moving on then, we have, what else do we have? The Eagles, yes. Eagles have signed Andrew Garner to a 3-year extension. Ian Rappaport reported this, that the deal will give him a base salary of around about $4.7 million with a $500,000 signing bonus. More signings. It was we needed that show me the money sound effect. And I'm not going to scream down the microphone and try that because it'd just be all kinds of wrong. Patriots offensive tackle Nate Soldier, he'd agreed to a 2-year, $20.1 million extension on Wednesday. $20 million of that was fully guaranteed as he put pen to paper. I can't imagine the joy. I couldn't sign my name. I'd be shaking with excitement. One squiggle of your name, $20 million. Thank you very much. Also, this has got $1.5 million worth of Pro Bowl incentives, and that takes him over the course of the next 3 years. There's also a clause in that contract where they can't tag him. So he's got a 2-year deal. He's going to hit the market as a free agent. Pats can't do nothing about him. Absolutely quids in. Fair dues to Nate Soldier as well. So he battled testicular cancer early in the year. That was all hush-hush. It's great to see someone making a full recovery from that. He's been playing well, and that kills me to say as a Jets fan. A Pat's been playing well, but congrats to Nate Soldier, fully deserved. Just going to check in on Twitter before we carry on with the rest of the news, because I've got a few tweets coming in. Actually, I haven't. I am absolutely seeing things. There was actually an email that hit the inbox. Not a tweet, but keep those votes coming in for Gronkowski. By the looks of things, no one's voted for anyone else. So Gronk, Chandler, or Johnson. Might as well just shut this down now, had we? No, keep them coming in. Gronk, Chandler, or Johnson on this week's Hot Route. Back to the news then on basically contract news week. And the Eagles, they looked up, I think I've already put this one down twice. I've already mentioned Andrew Garner. No, I've lost my place. Yeah, Pats, Nate Soldier. Yeah, quarterback Matt Castle. That's my next one on the list. He's back with the Bills. The Bills cut him a couple of weeks ago. He was on a base salary of $4.15 million. They cut him, brought him back $2 million. So I go figure with the Bills and quarterbacks. It's absolutely madness. Another person that redid his deal was former Titans guard Andre Levitri. He had his deal cut down. Basically, he's got $27.3 million guaranteed in the deal with the Titans, but since signing with the Falcons, they've reconfigured that. He's now get $23.25 million. He's also removed all guarantees beyond 2015, and his base salary drops from $6.5 million to this year down to $1.5 million. And the Falcons are making up the difference with a $5.5 million signing bonus, and that reduces the cap hit to $2.875 million. I want a signing bonus. I want to be able to walk in work, clock on, and get X amount of pounds. This is madness, utter madness. Talking of more depressing news. Well, not depressing news. If you are, Bills defensive tackle Marcel Darius, he signed a long-term contract extension on Thursday. Darius received a 6-year deal worth $108 million over the course of the next 7 seasons. He's going to get around about $60 million and guaranteed. The Colts also were busy this week. They locked up left tackle Anthony Castonzo. He had a new deal with $42 million over the next 4 years. They will earn $10.5 million per year, making him the joint 4th highest paid offensive tackle within the NFL. Vikings locked up one of their young promising wide receivers, Jarius Wright. He put pen to paper on a new 4-year deal, $14.8 million contract. Part of this agreement is guaranteed $7 million. $7 million, so a nice little contract for that. What was Wright? I think he was a 4th round pick, wasn't he, Jarius Wright? I'm sure John McDonald would be able to inform me of that. I'm convinced he was a 4th round pick. One of my favourites, a bit of a fanboy of Luke Kuechly. He has put pen to paper on a new 5-year deal worth around about $62 million. This makes Luke Kuechly the highest paid middle linebacker in the NFL. His average base salary is $12.4 million a year. That surpasses the $10.75 million deal signed by Bobby Wagner earlier this year. We mentioned the Bears and Packers on Pick TV earlier. Just going to mention that again for those without Sky Sports. Pick TV, search your listings, find it, let me know what the coverage was like. Moving on to Giants quarterback Eli Manning. He's also got a new deal. This is worth $84 million, $65 million and guaranteed money. This contract also has a non-trade clause in it. Bengals wide receiver AJ Green, he also put pen to paper on a new 4-year deal. This is worth $60 million. And wrapping up the news this week as the Oakland Raiders signed former 49ers linebacker Aldon Smith on Friday. You'll remember that the 49ers released Smith early in August after he was charged with driving under the influence and vandalism in a hit-and-run incident. I've not heard anything else on this front. There's reports that he's a possible go for week 1. And there's reports that we're waiting a suspension coming down. So the waters are a bit muddy at the moment. If anyone knows any more on that, hit me up either on Twitter at ZoneCoverageFS or in the chat room, which is going absolutely crazy at the moment. So plenty of chat going on in there. Right then, so just going to check in on the text lines. Text is quiet today. Twitter's relatively quiet as well. Yeah. Oh, Adam Ward says football is back and he's listening to the show. Appreciate that. Adam, again, if you want to send in your votes for this week's Hot Route, we have hashtag Gronk, hashtag Chandler, and hashtag Johnson. We have coming up in 10 minutes our first fan versus fan of the season. We have the Cardinals versus the Saints. We have Tom coming on to represent the Cardinals on Robert, who is a regular in the chat room representing the Saints. Bizarrely enough, Tom lives down the road from me. Very, very small world. So I was talking to him via Skype earlier on. So Robert's been on the show before. Plenty of love for the Saints. And we're very keen on Kenny Vaccaro. So got that coming up. Then we're going to have Russell coming up with the fantasy news around about 4:30, and then Tom with the last minute news and updates. Right then, yes, the games on Sky today. Yeah, I can actually give you the info. The guys are talking about that in the chat room now. First up on Sky, as well as Pick TV, is the Packers Bears, and then you've got the Broncos and the Ravens as your 9:25 game on Sky. They've also got the late game, which used to be on Channel 4 at 1:30, Giants Cowboys. That's on Sky. Then on Monday, we have 2 games Monday, 12:20 a.m. on Sky, Eagles Falcons. And then at 3:20 a.m. we have the Vikings 49ers. 5 a.m. finish for me, Tuesday morning, second half. Loving that. So those are your games on Sky. We will run through those again as we go. So that is that. Just had a tweet to check in on who this is on Twitter. What do we have here? Adam says Gronk. So Gronk is running away with this week's Hot Route. So appreciate the vote there, Adam. Thank you very much. Right then, what else do we have for you? I'll tell you what I've got. A couple of little things for you guys. We're going to have some betting tips for you. These are going to come via... At Jody Neal Roof put me in touch with a guy, Oliver, on Twitter. His Twitter handle is at MerioJ20. It's MERIOJ10. Sorry. MERIOJ10 on Twitter. The guy's name's Oliver. He is the NFL tipster for a Twitter account called @SpankTheBookies. He's given us some fantastic tips for this week. I did tweet him out a while ago. I'll redo that again. And he's saying that the Eagles are a good tip for this week's win. There's some odds and stuff involved. He's going to be on doing some regular stuff for us. He's going to explain the spreads, the point spread system, and so on and so on. So we're going to get him on with him next week. So if you're in for a bit of a flutter on Twitter, then stay tuned. We've got that coming in. And in between the shows, he does put his stuff on the website at spankthebookies.com. So again, on Twitter, it's MERIOJ10. And also, Jody, who is in the Fantasy League, you can find him on Twitter at Jody Neal Roof. I can't say the Twitter handle. It's MERIOJ10. That'll do. Or is it MerioJ10? I don't know. MERIOJ10 is the one. Just go to @SpankTheBookies on Twitter. You'll find it. So we've got that coming up. Hit him up. Oliver's nice guy. Been chatting to him over the course of the last week, as is Jody. So that's been good fun there. Right then, what have we got? 8 minutes until fan versus fan. Shall we get into summer? Oh, I know what we can do. Let's bring back everyone's favourite. If I can find my sounds, let's do a little bit of this.
Welcome to the Zone Coverage Football Show Love Line.
Here we go. This is this week's Love Line. And again, if you are a new listener, this is not a dating segment. This is part of the show where we pay tribute to the big guys on the O-line and on the D-line. Because as we know now, the league is catered for these superstar quarterbacks, these superstar wide receivers, these DBs, all these flashy guys, get all the women, all the cash. And the big guys on the line, basically, without them, these superstars would not be the superstars that they are. So with that in mind, I give a shout out to some guys on the line, hence the term the Love Line. And Ant says that sounds like a dodgy 80s porn theme. And yeah, I think it was a 70s one, in fairness. And my Google history last year when I set up this feature was very, very interesting, to say the least. So yeah, I have stolen that. So someone could sue me if you are a 70s/80s porn connoisseur. So hit me up if you are at Coverage FS. Moving swiftly on. Right then, first up on this week's Love Line is Rodney Hudson. He is a centre for the Raiders, 6'2", 300 pounds. He was born in Mobile, Alabama, played his college ball for Florida State. As a true freshman, he started 10 games at left tackle, left guard. He amassed numerous awards for his outstanding play for the Seminoles over the course of his 4-year career. He left the team as the most decorated lineman in the team's history. He was then selected in the second round of the 2011 draft by the Chiefs Only started one game as a rookie as he was placed on IR with a broken leg. He then went on to play 51 games for the Chiefs, making 35 starts before joining Raiders this offseason. And during this offseason for the Raiders, he signed a $44.5 million deal, making him the highest paid centre at the time within the NFL. Oh dear, I've opened up a can of worm about adult movies now in the chat room. Everyone prefers, there's debate going. Hashtag 80s, 70s, 90s. If you are in the chat room, you will know what I am on about. Oh God. Just got to sign up to Spreaker for this conversation thread alone. Moving on, our next person on this week's Love Line is Jason Kelsey, 6'3", and 280 pounds, centre for the Eagles. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio. He played both running back and linebacker at high school, and he attended Cincinnati College. He switched to the O-line following a redshirt year where he played both guard and centre. The following next 2 years, he started every game for the Bearcats and then moved to centre during his senior year. In total, he played 47 games, making 38 starts. He was then drafted by the Eagles in 2011 in the 6th round. He went on to become the starter at centre during his rookie season, started all 16 games. This was the first time in team history that this had happened for a rookie centre for the Eagles. And then last year he signed a 6-year, $38 million contract extension. And that name, Kelsey, does it sound familiar? Yeah, his brother Travis Kelsey plays tight end for the Chiefs. And that is this week's Love Line, and we definitely bring in Love Line back. The music alone gets the conversation flowing. So we've got a 1920s adult movie reference. Oh dear, he went downhill rapidly. I love you guys in the chat room. Absolutely fantastic stuff. If you want to nominate anyone for the Love Line, and I do mean people on the line, not people that you've seen on the internet, feel free to hit me up at Zone Coverage FS. You can email the show if you want to rant about something you like, something you dislike. Do feel free to do so. And what's the email address? It is zonecoveragefootballshow@mail.com. You know what I think it's time for? Let's get this going.
It's now time for Fan versus Fan.
Right, that's it. First fan versus fan of this season. So hopefully we do have Tom on the line and Robert. And if you're new to fan versus fan, it all works like this. We get a couple of guys on who are playing. Teams are going head to head on this Sunday. And what the idea of this is that you get introduce yourself, bit of self promo if you're writing or whatever. If you just want to generally talk about your team, you both then get around about a couple of minutes to put to the listeners basically why your team will win this Sunday. We then ask the audience to listen, vote. So once again, people, you've got to send in some hashtags to vote for who put forward the best case. We're going to give that then around about half an hour or so, something like that, where we'll total up the votes and we will ring the winner back, where we give them nothing. Because this is just me in my bedroom, basically. I've not got a garage full of Mercedes I can give out or nothing like that. So we would just give you praise and you will be fan versus fan champion week 1. That's pretty much how this works. So if you want to register for fan versus fan, I do have a list actually of a few people that want to represent their team. So if you've got Skype, you want to come on the show, hit me up again, Twitter at Zone Coverage FS, drop me an email, zonecoveragefootballshow@mail.com. Also, when you go to the website, zonecoveragefootballshow.com, on the Contact Me page, there is a button you can press for fan versus fan. Come straight through me. I'll hit you up on Twitter or Facebook, whatever way you want, and we'll get into it. So hopefully, this is usually the part of the show, if you're a regular listener, where things go... It's a polite way of putting it. Wrong. We'll stick with wrong. So hopefully Tom is on the line right now. So if we can get Tom to on the show, that would be fantastic. So here we go. Just waiting for Tom now to answer. We are waiting. So hopefully we have Tom who will be representing the Cardinals today. It does tell me that it is ringing. Told you this is the fun part of the show. Everyone's waiting with bated breath. Again, if you want to send in some... Hello, is that Tom?
Hello?
Hello, Tom.
Yep.
All right, Tom. How's things, buddy?
Not too bad.
Good. I was saying before we jumped into this on the show here, we were speaking a little online earlier. You live down the road, which makes this a very scary world.
What's that say? Funny. Breaking up.
Oh, are you breaking up, buddy? Are you on a mobile by any chance? Is that
I am,
quite possibly the problem? We'll persist with it, Tom. We'll persist. You're representing the Cardinals today?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to give me a brief intro then to yourself, if you wouldn't mind. Tell us who you are, how you got into the Cardinals, if you wouldn't mind. And also, I know you got a Twitter handle as well, at British Bird Gang, so the floor is yours, mate.
Yeah, well, I started following the Cardinals probably in 2008, just was the year when you got to the Super Bowl. And then I've been following them ever since. I started the British Bird Gang blog probably about 3 years ago now, and it's slowly increased from there. And I've decided to become a Cardinals fan because they chose me on Madden.
Oh, right, cool. That's an interesting way to pick a team.
Well, it seemed a logical way, you know. They drafted me, so I thought I may as well choose them as my team.
Ah, awesome. I also know by your picture I can see in front of me, you played for the Surge, your local team just down the road. I mentioned to myself I played for the Railroaders. You said that you were injured, Tom. What did you do out of curiosity?
It was like a low block sort of thing. One guy got me high, the other guy got me low. I was like caught in the middle.
Ouch. Not good.
Painful.
Do you have plans to come back then and play, or are you just playing the waiting game now, see how things work out?
I'll probably come back eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that banter in the locker room and stuff, isn't it? You can't replace that. It kills me not playing, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I have missed it, to be fair. Especially with Surge doing so well at the moment.
Yeah, they had a good season, made the playoffs. Unfortunately, fell at the first hurdle, and I'd be interested to see how they get on next year.
Yeah.
Right then, Tom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Robert to the call now, so I'm going to just have a brief chat with Robert if you stay on the line, and then we'll get to the formalities of it also. You have to bear with me because this is usually where things go a little wrong, if I am honest with you. Does help if I can find a Robert on here. So here we go. Hopefully that this does work. You have to bear with me there, Tom. We are waiting Robert now.
Hello?
Hello, is that Robert?
Yes, it is, yeah.
How's it going, sir?
I'm alright, how are you?
Very well. Robert, meet Tom. Tom, meet Robert.
Tom?
Oh.
Right then, Rob, I just give Tom the floor. Give us a little intro. Obviously, I know you, Rob. You've been on the show a couple of times beforehand. Just give us a brief intro, how you fell in love with the Saints and so on.
Well, it was I've not been into the sport very long, really. I'm not that old, so I first got into it 2008. I saw it was on when they played the International Series game in London. It was the Saints versus the Chargers. And I just sat down and started to watch it, and I flipped a coin on who I wanted to support for the game, and the Saints won, and I've just followed them ever since, basically.
Awesome. So you've both got a really interesting and different ways how you both fell in love with your team. I like that. It's very different, mixes it up. Right then, gents, what I'm going to do is I'm both going to give you 2 minutes each to put forward your case why your team's going to win. You can go as stat heavy as you want, reel off the stats, just whatever you've got, just fire away. And if you've done within 2 minutes, just say I'm done. And if you're running over 2 minutes, I'm just going to interrupt you and say that's it, gents, time up. Tom, I give you a ring first, so I will set up my clock and then we will get you going, sir. That sound good?
That sounds good, yeah.
Yeah. We both know what we're doing, gents. Everything's well?
Yep.
Excellent. Right. I'm just panning for time because I can't find my timer. Right, here we go. Tom, the floor is yours. Your 2 minutes starts now, sir.
So everyone says how no one seems to be rating the Cardinals this year. Well, for once we're going to actually show them from week 1 that we mean business this year. And we'll start off with beating the New Orleans Saints. And I think it'll be a pretty close game between the two of them. The New Orleans Saints offense is one that is pretty good to watch. And even with our defense, I still think Drew Brees will score a few points. Carson Palmer on the other side will score even more, given the fact he's got Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown, Michael Floyd, Andre Ellington, Chris Johnson, David Johnson. Yeah, you've got plenty of weapons on the offense to do damage to the New Orleans defense that is missing a few people, I noticed. So yeah, I reckon we start off week 1 with a victory. And that's me, I'm done.
Awesome. I appreciate that, Tom. Right then, just over a minute. Robert, you've got 2 minutes, buddy, if you're ready.
Yep, I'm ready.
Right then, here we go. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Well, I'm going to start off with the Cardinals' offensive line. Obviously, Bobby Massey and Mike Iupati are out, so that gives us quite a bit of room to just come at Carson Palmer, especially coming off his ACL injury last year. Surely he's got to be a bit nervous. If we've got Cam Jordan, we've got Howley Kikaha, who can come at the passer, and hopefully we can create some pressure and force him into some bad throws or sacks. Secondly, Drew Brees is still Drew Brees. We saw this throughout the pre-season. He only played on 4 drives, and all 4 he scored points on, with the perfect passer rating versus the Patriots. Obviously, we've got Brandon Cooks, who's being hyped too much. Well, too much. He's probably deserves it. All pre-season, he's looking brilliant. He had 4 receptions for 117 yards against the Patriots, and he's looked thoroughly impressive. And we've got people to replace Jimmy Graham. We've got Brandon Coleman, Josh Hill, and Benjamin Watson, who can all they can all contribute to the offense. And our return game's better. We've got a rookie, Marcus Murphy. He's looking pretty impressive on returns, and therefore we can get into a good field position, which we've not been able to do the last couple of years. Our secondary is brilliant. We've got obviously the addition of Brandon Browner to go with Kenny Vaccaro, Jairus Byrd when he comes back, and Keenan Lewis. But we've also got Delvin Breaux, who came from the Canadian League. He's been very impressive in camp. He's now going to be starting today, and he's been the only person who could really shut down Cooks in practice. Nobody else seemed to be able to. Our running game is also pretty impressive. We've got Ingram, who's coming off a career year where he was in the Pro Bowl, and Kerry Robinson behind him, who I believe could be a starting NFL back for a number of teams, but happens to be only the 3rd string back on our team at the moment. And behind our offensive line, which we now have Max Unger to go with Teron Armstead and all the quality players we've got in there. I think we can do quite a lot of damage.
Robert, that is your 2 minutes, buddy. I've got to jump in. I do apologise.
That's all right. I've just finished.
I apologise for cutting you off, gents. I appreciate you putting in the time for coming on the show. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask you to. You'll disappear in a moment. I'm going to put out a tweet saying #Tom if you want to vote for the Cardinals, or #Robert. So get the guys tweet into me at Zone Coverage FS. Only tweets count. I won't accept retweets. And what I'll do, I'll give the winner a phone call around about 30 or so minutes after we've done the fantasy news. Does that sound all right, gents?
Sounds all right to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tom, I appreciate you coming on, buddy. Robert, likewise, and I'll give one of you a ring in a moment. And once again, thanks for coming on the show today.
No problem.
Bye.
Cheers, gents.
Bye.
Well, and there we have it. This week's Zone Coverage Football Show, Fan vs. Fan, is up and running. If you want to be on the show, then hit me up at Zone Coverage FS. I'm just sending out a tweet now. So if you want to vote, you can do #Robert for the Saints if you feel he put forward the best argument. For the Cardinals, if you feel that Tom put forward the best argument, that is #Tom. David says #none, as both teams suck. Fair dues. So Ant's got the first vote in there, so we will put that down. So I will be keeping these secret until we get to late on. So right then, I appreciate you guys. Tom, the connection was a bit iffy there with you, and it always is on Skype. Skype's a pain in the rear end. I had got it on a little loud, so apologies to those in the chat room if that come across a little loud. Still working out problems in Tees Towers. You know how it is. We're 53 episodes in, and nothing ever runs smoothly on this. So again, keep those tweets coming in at Zone Coverage FS. Who put forward the best case? Doesn't matter who you think will win on paper. Do you think that Tom, for the Cardinals, put forward the best case, or you feel that Robert put forward the best case? Right then, let's refresh your memories. Let's go back to this week's Hot Route. Again, so the Hot Route, if you want to send in your tweets, hashtag Gronk, hashtag Chandler, hashtag Johnson. I basically need a drink, so I am playing you this again.
Hot Route. Vote for your favorite play of the week.
On the Pittsburgh 6, Brady under center. Single back is Bolden. Brady stands up. He says something to the right side of the line. Turns around, says something to Bolden, his running back. Under center, he gets the snap. He fakes the handoff. He cocks his arm, arches a pass back at the end zone. Leaping, two-handed grab under the crossbar. Gronkowski! He's done it again! Second touchdown reception tonight. Terrific camouflage by Brady. And he lofts a beautiful high pass, leaping with the two-handed glove catch under the crossbar while double-teamed Gronkowski. Second and goal at the 1. Brady under center, turns around. He sends one of his tight ends in motion. He's got 3 wide. He looks to the left. He gets the snap. He drops back 2, throws a short pass in the end zone. It's a twirling two-handed catch on the goal line and grabbed by the tight end, Scott Chandler. A 1-yard twisting and turning and heavily covered ball that was grabbed and latched onto. He crosses the plane. Touchdown, New England. Tom Brady has just thrown his 3rd touchdown pass to a tight end for the Patriots tonight. Roethlisberger under center with an I formation. Handoff to Johnson. Runs over the left guard. He tries to slice into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. With the big fullback Will Johnson playing the role of running back with the suspension of Bell. He slices in from a yard away, and Pittsburgh is back on the board with their first touchdown tonight.
Awesome. So there we have it. That was this week's Hot Route, just in case you are late joining the show this week. We play this at the beginning of the show pretty much every week now. It's basically plays of the week, and we get you guys to vote. So the first call that you heard was hashtag Gronk, if you want to vote for that. Then you have hashtag Chandler and hashtag Johnson. And I best mention, so I do not get sued, that those calls were via Kevin Harlan and Boomer Esiason, courtesy of WestwoodOneSports.com. If you want to listen to any of the games via WestwoodOneSports.com, you can find them on TuneIn. They are covering the Seahawks, Rams, the Lions, Chargers, the Giants, Cowboys, and the Eagles, Falcons. So say, for example, you work nights or whatever, get the TuneIn app, you'll be able to listen to those games. And Westwood One Sports, they do a fantastic job. So that is WestwoodOneSports.com providing us with those calls. The tweets are coming in also for Fan versus Fan this week. Hashtag Tom representing the Cardinals, hashtag Robert representing the Saints. So I am trying to keep up with all this. It's been a while since I've been in full season flow. I've forgotten how goddamn difficult this was. Simon, that's cheating. Is it? I think he's tweeted from 2 accounts that he's got. Oh, I will not accept that. If you've got 2 accounts, and I know you've got 2 accounts, I'm not going to accept the 2. Nice try, though. I appreciate your ingenuity. Right then, quick question in the chat room comes from Ant. Says, what's your view on the Jets' chances this season? And I've been banging if the Jets win 6 games this year, I will be over the moon. Todd Bowles, first-time head coach. Kenny Cutty as a head coach, excellent coordinator. It's a big step up. New York media, he's still quarterbacks are iffy. D-line's fantastic. O-line's okay. Running game, iffy. There's weapons, but... yeah, I will go with 6 wins. 6. I keep saying 6 to 8. If we get to 500, that'd be a very, very good year. It's his first year. I struggle. I really struggle. I do, to be honest, with a new head coach. It's hard to judge. I like the additions we've made. Mike McCagnon, the new GM's done a great job. So we'll see. I'm setting the ball low. If we go over that, I'll be over the moon. Last year I said playoffs and the year was stunk and I was depressed. And all sorts of mither. So I'm setting the bar low this year on purpose. But 6 games, we might not even get to that, in all fairness. Yeah, granted, and a few people do say it, we might surprise a few. I think we're not going to get hammered many games, in fairness. I think we're going to be one of those teams that loses those games by like a touchdown or a last-minute kick, something like that. No, I'll tell you what will happen. We'll be this stupid team that misses the extra point. Now it's been moved back. We'll be the team that loses on that. You can guarantee that. You can, guaranteed. Right then, just going to jump in back on Twitter at Zone Coverage FS. I'm loving football's back. I cannot keep up with the amount of activity in the chat room, on Twitter. It's fantastic. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, but it's all going very, very well. Right then, let's check in on what shall we do now. Let's give you some game previews.
Are you ready for some football?
Right then, first up we have the Packers and Bears. Again, this is on Sky Sports from 6 o'clock tonight, and also Pick TV. So if you haven't got Sky, you haven't got Game Pass, Pick TV is the one for you. And please, feedback wanted on that. Right then, Jordan Nelson, we do know, has gone for the year with a torn ACL, but a familiar friend of Aaron Rodgers is, James Jones. He's now back with the team. If you cast your mind back in 2012, James Jones caught 14 touchdown passes for the Packers. He was a legitimate threat within the red zone. Devontae Adams, he looks set for a major role this term. Fingers crossed, because I've got him in the fantasy league. As for the Bears, this defense is now switching to a 3-4. It's going to be interesting to see how that all holds up. No Brandon Marshall, first round rookie pick Kevin White could be out all season. Alshon Jeffrey, he's had his injury woes, and I'm not sure if he's going to start today. We will get the latest on that from Tom around about 4:50 today. So Tom will give us an update on Alshon Jeffrey there, and that's my way of giving Tom some homework while he's listening. Last year the Packers won both of these games. They dropped a total of 93 points on the Bears in the process, and I expect pretty much the same today, if I'm honest. It should be an easy win for the Packers, but you never know. Moving on then, the next game on the docket is the Chiefs and the Texans. The addition of wide receiver Jeremy Maclin, that should end the lack of touchdown passes. Jokes there. Dontari Poe, he's a huge loss for the team. I'm unsure if he's going to make it back fitness-wise in time. Justin Houston, Tamba Harley, they look set to have another huge year. We've then got the return of safety Eric Berry. This is a huge emotional boost for the team. They can ride that train all the way through if they want. Running game for the Chiefs is fantastic. As for the Texans, Hard Knocks. How can you not like the Texans after Hard Knocks? Bill O'Brien, for me, he's come across as just a really, really good guy. You know where the line is from what I can see in Hard Knocks with Bill O'Brien. He goes about his business the right way for me. He drops a few F-bombs here and there and getting his point across, but you don't feel like that those are forced. That's just the kind of person he is. So it could be a decent year for the Texans. This is a good matchup. I suppose questions really for Texans are, is Hoyer the guy? Can Alfred Blue fill the void left by the injury to Arian Foster? DeAndre Hopkins, he's now going to step up and be the team's number one offensive weapon. So it's going to be interesting this season for the Texans. So they had a fantastic year last year. We'll see how that continues. Moving on to the Week 1 Toilet Bowl. Yes, this is the Browns and Jets. I warn you now, if this had been a Week 14 game, I doubt I would have been watching. So Tease Towers, it says on my notes, gets to enjoy the bad quarterback bowl. That aside, I actually intrigued to see how one of the best D-lines goes up against one of the best O-lines. That, for me, that's an under-the-radar matchup. Leonard Williams, he looks set to make his debut in green and white, this in the place of the suspended Sheldon Richardson. Revis and Crow look to shore up the revamped secondary. How many times will we see the Todd Bowles double A gap blitz? Something he hammered that over in Arizona, so keep your eye out for that one. For the Browns, really, apart from that O-line, there's not a lot that excites me. Running back, wide receiver, I suppose the few hopes they've got, Danny Shelton v Chris Ivory, that could be an interesting matchup. The Browns are really poor against the run, drafted Danny Shelton. Chris Ivory, decent running back, he's physical, tough runner, seeks contact, so him v Shelton, that could be a tasty matchup. Again, what else? Eric Decker. I've had Eric Decker versus Hayden or Marshall. That could be another great matchup. On paper, not the best game, but some good individual matchups to keep an eye on. Tom's already on the Alshon Jeffrey news. Homework. Tom is cursing me there, so brilliant. On there next to the Colts and the Bills. a lot being made about the Colts scoring like 1,000 points a game. So this high-powered offense against a Rex Ryan D. Like I say, a lot of experience with Rex as he was the Jets head coach. Usually kept us close with Brady. So can he lock down Andrew Luck's Colts? It is going to be tough. But for the Colts, though, they've got a really, really weak O-line in my eyes. And the Bills have this fantastic D-line. So that, for me, keep your eye on that matchup today. That is going to be interesting. I know Rex is going to scheme and show Luck's maybe things he's not seen as often within the NFL, but that O-line, D-line matchup going to be interesting. Also, Tyrod Taylor, how much is he going to use his legs? Are they going to let him run wild? He's injury risk, if you ask me. Shady McCoy, been struggling with a hamstring. Is he going to be back? If he is, how effective will he be? The Colts have then added veteran Andre Johnson, Frank Gore. They haven't had a running game in Indy for a long, long time, and if they've got a good running game, can that open up the passing game for this high-powered offense? It's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm looking forward to this one. On then to the Dolphins and Redskins. And friend of the show, Dennis Moss, who is doing the 31 Stadium Tour. He touched down in Boston last Tuesday just gone. He sent a picture. We did retweet that via the show. Made it to the Patriots game. Had a fantastic time. He's already in Washington. I think he got there Saturday. He said he's already got his ticket. He's going to the Dolphins Redskins game. So Dennis Moss, if you want to keep an eye on his journey, on Twitter at AZBowden, Bowden, is the Twitter handle for Dennis. Keep an eye on his journey there. So Dennis is having great fun. Very envious. So I'll be retweeting the pictures and stuff, but hit Dennis up, give him some encouragement along the way. Back to the game then. Redskins here. Pretty much everyone's writing off the Redskins. We've had the RG3 saga. I do believe he's now been cleared for that concussion that he'd had for the last couple of weeks. Kirk Cousins gets the start. And you could say that it's not a very good team, but you look on paper, we've got Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, decent running game of Alfred Morris. They've got some talent on the offense. You really can't write them off all the way. However, you've got to feel that 5th overall pick, Brandon Scherf, he's going to have his hands full today. Welcome to the NFL in the form of Dominic and Sue. This D-line for the Dolphins, it's formidable. But if you can get past this D-line, if the D-lines are not making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, you're not getting into the backfield, this linebacking group are absolutely woeful for the Dolphins, both in coverage and against the run. So you just need to get past Sue and Vernon. If you can do that, your quid's in. If not, you're in for one hell of a long afternoon. Also, this year, Ryan Tannehill, he's looked fantastic in preseason. Can he continue this great form into the 2015 regular season? Can he take them to the playoffs? They've done 8-8 the last 2 years. Is head coach Joe Philbin, is he the team's Achilles heel? These are questions I've got going into the game. I can just see Twitter going mad, so I'm just going to step away from the game previews at the moment. Here we're going for. We got Simon. Yes, I did call Simon out on the tweeting from 2 accounts for the fan versus fan. So appreciate the banter there. John Cartwright's also tweeting as well as being in the chat room. Multitasking going on here. Right, keep your tweets coming in. Keep those votes coming in for hashtag Robert representing the Saints. Hashtag Tom representing the Cardinals. I'll be honest, it's relatively close at the moment. So a couple of tweets either way will give us a winner, obviously. Right then, back to these games. We're going to have the fantasy advice coming up around about 5-6 minutes. So the wee man, if you are listening, get ready. He did warn me that he could be very hungover, so this could be a very, very entertaining segment coming up. Next game then on the docket is the Panthers and the Jags. The Jaguars, for me, they look set to continue their steady progress under Gus Bradley, but Year 4 looks to be a big year for the team. I've spoke to this with Tom numerous times, really, how much pressure is Gus Bradley under if he doesn't perform this year. Do you see him going? Because he looks like he's in a 5-year plan. It's a tough ask. Blake Bortles, he's got talent around him now. They must improve the running game. TJ Yeldon, he looks set to run the rock. For the Panthers, they're now without Calvin Benjamin. All the added pressure is going to go on rookie Devin Funchess. Can he carry the offense as a rookie? It's pretty much unheard of, in fairness. Also, beyond that, look for veteran tight end Greg Olsen. He will probably be the main focal point of this team. And now, D'Angelo Williams, we said he had a cracking game up in Pittsburgh. Jonathan Stewart, he now finally gets the chance to carry the rock for this team. I remember at one time that D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart were on absolutely astronomical contracts for the Panthers. I think they got like 30-40% of the cap locked up in these two guys. It crippled the team for years. So I had the Panthers before the Calvin Benjamin injury going down to three-peat in that division. So I think the Saints could be sneaky. The Falcons are going to improve this year. So it's going to be interesting. So that's what we've got coming up on that game. Next up, Seahawks-Rams. Who remembers this game last year? How good a game of Pigskin was this? We had the fake punts deep in their own half of the Rams. They couldn't stop Lynch. They couldn't stop Russell Wilson. If you've not seen it and you've got Game Pass, and I know that this season's on our doorstep, but if you've got spare time, download it. Go watch Seahawks-Rams from last year. Phenomenal game. For me, the sort of questions that I have going into this game, the Seahawks are now without centre Max Unger, gone in that trade. They've got the Rams who have a formidable front. Aaron Donald, Robert Quinn and co. Will Wilson and Lynch be effective, or will the game fall on Jimmy Graham? Can Tyler Lockett, can he carry on his impressive form? He's looked nothing short of sensational in the return game for the Seahawks. They're also without Cam Chancellor, Byron Maxwell. So this Legion of Boom looks a hell of a lot different than it did 12 months ago. Also, Nick Foles, he sets into the fray as the Rams quarterback. Can he be the guy for them? So again, a lot of questions surrounding both teams. It should be a fantastic game on paper. John mentions that Rams fake punt return from that game was brilliant. Balls of steel to go for it. For me, that is one of the plays of the season. That and Cam Chancellor maybe jumping over the line on the field goal in that championship game. That was also fantastic as well. Oh, was that in the Panthers game? I can't remember. If you do get a chance, go back and watch that one. Next up then is your Saints and Cardinals. I haven't really got a great deal to say about this one because I do believe that the guys covered it enough in our fan versus fan feature. I will say this though, Drew Brees, he will play in his 203rd career game as the Saints travel to the Cardinals. He can become the fastest player to reach 400 career touchdowns and passing wise in NFL history. He is currently on 396. So 4 touchdown game for Drew Brees today, and he becomes the fastest person in NFL history to reach 400 career touchdown passes. There's your stat of the day. You're welcome. Next up is the Lions at the Chargers. I really like the Lions this year, if I'm honest. Golden Tate, Megatron, Matthew Stafford. Pretty dominant offense, really. Can Amir Abdullah be the back that can spark a Lions backfield? It's been okay over the years, but can it be electric? That's what I'm looking for. An electric running game really opens up the field for the rest of this offense. Also, we've got Eric Ebron. Will he step up? There's a lot of sort of draft hype coming out last year. Ebron's going to be phenomenal. He was poor, putting it politely. Very, very poor was Ebron as well. Also, we've got the loss of Sue on that D-line. But in fairness, if you watch that D-line in pre-season, I saw quite a lot of the Lions. I was curious how they'd get on. They did not miss a beat for me. Did not miss a beat. One of the best linebackers in the league, DeAndre Levy, he unfortunately will sit this one out. Glover Quinn and James Ehedibo, they bizarrely last year said that they were the best safety duo within the entire NFL, and fair enough, they were very, very impressive. Can they carry that on? They were good. Can they be as good as they reckon they are, is the basic question here. Glover Quinn and James Ehedibo, or Diggs as I like to call him. Also, we have for the Chargers, they know where they are now with Phillip Rivers. He's going to be part of the team no matter where they are, so that's good news there. All eyes, I would imagine, will be on rookie running back, I should say, Melvin Gordon. He has really, really struggled in pre-season. We have defensive end Corey Legit. He is the real deal as well. Also, veteran safety Eric Weddle. He's going to look to sign off with a great year in San Diego. He's already told them that he will not be back in 2016. So it's going to be a very, very interesting year for the San Diego Chargers and the Lions. I really like the Lions going into this year, if I'm honest. Right then, guys, I'm going to try and get the wee man on the phone. So this is going to be a very, very interesting part of the show now. We're going to bring you some fantasy advice via the wee man. So if you've not checked out the Fourth Down and Out podcast at Dundee NFL on Twitter, I do highly recommend you go and check that out. Guys produce a podcast. It usually drops on like a Wednesday, Thursday in the week. They recently changed up the format with Martin taking on like a producer role. He's basically keeping Russ and Simon in check. So again, you can find that Stitcher, iTunes, and all the great places there. So I've just dropped the wee man a text. So fingers crossed we can get him on the line. This is where things really could take a turn for the worst here. Right then, I'm calling him now. So here we go. Your fantasy news are via the wee man. Technology, do not let me down. Here we go. Are you there? Oh, we have ringing. That's always a good sign. Very professional, as always. Hello,
Hey,
Ross.
how you doing?
How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm rough. I'm dying.
Are you dying? First, before we get into all this, how rough of a night did you have?
Oh, it was only 9 beers and half a bottle of vodka. It wasn't too bad.
Just a quiet one, then?
Yeah. We I actually passed out on the couch watching Fantastic Four, which is never a good sign if that's what you're putting on.
No, it's not good. We'll say that the drink drove you to that film.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm blaming for Madden as well, because I was awful. Awful.
Going online and playing Madden when you've had a few, that's never a good idea, ever.
No, it really wasn't. The boy I was playing was in worse nick than me as well. That's the worst bit.
Oh dear. We need like some sort of like webcam, so like drunkenmadden.com.
Oh, that could make a bit of money, couldn't
Yeah,
it?
we could do. There's a gap in the market there. You're already getting some banter in the chat room here. John says 9 beers and a pile of vodka. Says that's a rock and roll lifestyle.
Nah, that is a quiet one. I've still got a flagon of Scrumpy cider in the fridge that I never got to, but I can't stomach it just now.
No,
I'm already panicking. I'm not going to get to the Bucks game, and it's still 5 hours away. I'm struggling.
Save it for the Bucks game. You might need it to drown your sorrows.
Oh no, Gwennon's not playing, man. It's all right. It's only when Gwennon plays that I need to drink.
Right then, Russ, so this is your debut, really, on the Zone Coverage Football Show, bringing fantasy advice. And we all know that Simon's got this cult line now where he said, start all Giants, and the Giants are absolutely miserable. So there's a lot of pressure here on your shoulders, Russ. Can you live up to the hype is what we're asking you?
Well, I can't be as bad as what he was that week. That was just a pure nightmare. But listen, I honestly think you should be starting all your Giants this week. I kind of like what's going on there. I mean, you've got Odell Beckham Jr., who, if you've got your starting Rashad Jennings, the running back there, but I really like Ruben Randall because the Giants' defence doesn't scare me at all. And with Beckham Jr. getting probable double coverage most of the time, Ruben Randall should get a lot of looks. And I don't know, maybe 6 catches, 70 yards and a touchdown is a decent game for him this week, and it could be even higher.
Yeah, because it could be like a sneaky third receiver for you if you're struggling this week, if there's some injuries are propped up, so yeah. Yeah,
especially like in our 3 wide receiver league that we have. He's somebody that I would be looking at to start, and like you say, flex as well. But it's week 1, Mark, and I think people get really... They wait all year for this week, don't they? It's week 1, you're going, but don't try to be cute this week. This is the week that you have to play your starters, the guys you know are going to be getting the looks, the guys that you know have got the trust of the team. One of the guys that I dislike this week is Joik Bell, because they've got Abdullah there now, and I just don't know who's going to come out on top of that. And all it takes is Joey Bell to fumble the ball once, and that's him done, because they do have Abdullah there ready to come in. So there's a couple of running back committees that I'm a little concerned about, but definitely the Lions. But the one that I'm not is the Browns. I love Crowell this week. I think he's going to just run that ball so hard and try to make sure that he keeps the role, because it's Duke Johnson there, isn't it, the rookie that they've brought in?
Yeah.
and he's likely to be the passing down back, but Crowell needs to make sure that he can keep the starting job there, and I think he's going to have a great week.
He's up against it, though, because this Jets front, it's not an easy one to run on, in fairness.
It isn't, but I mean, you don't have much else, do you? You've got a good front seven.
That's a fair point.
As long as the Browns aren't trailing too bad, which they shouldn't do, because as much as I like Eric Decker this week as well, he's another guy that I'm really looking forward to. I've just swapped him in my league. Can't remember who I took out. I just did it before you called as well.
Yeah, because you would imagine that Joe Hayden's going to go on Brandon Marshall, so that leaves Decker pretty much on his own, in fairness. So, yeah, that could be an interesting one. What else have you got then for us, Russ? Who sort of leaps out at you today then?
Greg Olsen. I think he's going to have a great week. He's going to be the highest scoring tight end apart from Gronkowski. He's not getting 3 touchdowns. He's no Gronk, but
no.
He's pretty much the only person that Cam Newton can throw the ball to these days, and he's just outstanding as well. I think he's going to have a good game this week. Cam Newton as well, I think he's going to get quite a few yards on the ground. So start him if you have him, but if you've got him, I'd be a little worried that you don't have a higher quarterback, to be honest. Cam Newton I see just now is someone that you should have on your bench, apart from, I don't know, I'd play him over Peyton Manning this week.
Wow, really?
What do you think about it? Yeah, I would play Cam Newton over Peyton Manning this week.
Interesting. I'm not.
It goes completely against what I've just said about week one. Don't try to recuse it, doesn't it? Yeah. But I think other than Peyton Manning, he's one of the guys that you just don't know what you're going to get this season. He should have his best game this week because he's fresh. But I was speaking to Simon the other day, and we were talking about the fact that he's lost feeling in his fingers and everything. And I'm really concerned about him. So yeah, I've got him in one team, and I'm not overly happy about it. I've got him starting ahead of Kaepernick, but only just. But if it was Cam Newton was the choice, I would have him in over Peyton Manning this week.
So what, do you reckon Kaepernick could be sneaky this season at all? Because the 49ers have been pretty much written off, haven't they? And Vernon Davis last year, he was very, very poor. They sort of got away from the passing game. They just ignored Davis. Could he be set for a bounce back, do you reckon?
Vernon Davis, I'm really not sure because, like you say, him and Kaepernick just don't seem to have any kind of chemistry there. But Kaepernick, yeah, I've picked him up in a couple of weeks because I think they're going to allow him to run a bit more this year, and that's when he's most dangerous, isn't it? Let's be fair. And I really like him. He's got the legs to beat linebackers to the edge. I mean, he's not had the injuries that RG3's had, so there's definitely a chance that Kaepernick bounces back, and I know Martin is thinking about that as well. He's obviously, for anybody that knows, the producer on our show, and if you don't, he's a huge 49ers fan, but he's happy about Kaepernick this year, but nervous about everything else, I think.
Ah, cool. Anything else for us then, Russ?
Probably, mate, but I'm rough. I apologise, I really do. The main thing is, start your Giants this week. Apart from Cruz, obviously, because he's injured. He's been a late scratch, I think. So make sure that you just go with your starters and ride the team that you've drafted, to be honest, this week. Don't
get cute this week, is your words of wisdom.
Exactly, except for when it comes to Peyton Manning. If you have a choice there to make, then I would Peyton, I can see maybe being a number 15 quarterback this week.
Ah. I'm curious now to watch that game later. You've definitely added a little something extra for me.
You know what? He's going to go off, isn't he? He's going to get like 10
5 touchdowns. Yeah. He might
Yeah.
even, imagine if he rushed for 100 yards as well. That would be really bizarre.
Exactly, and he'll get MVP of the season just for this one game because I've jinxed him.
Russ, you guys dropped a podcast earlier in the week. If you want to tell the guys about that.
We did. I think there was actually 2 this week. There was the AFC preview that Martin put together. I think that came out Friday or Saturday. Honestly, my brain just does not work, and it came out this week anyway. But we also did our normal show, which I came back for. I've been a bit ill, not hangover, but with a flu. So I came back this week, and it was really good. I had a good laugh. I listened back to it, and it's just brilliant to have Martin back as well. The banter that the 3 of us have at the start of the season. And if you don't listen to the podcast, you should go out, download it now. Well, not now. Wait until Mark's show's over and then listen to it.
Well, you could download it while you're listening to this, and then in between games you could put it on.
Not if you've got my internet. I can't do 2 things at once. My internet absolutely sucks.
Again, if you want any last sort of fantasy questions, I'll send folks over to you at Dundee NFL on Twitter, the podcast 4th Down and Out, iTunes, Stitcher, and all those wonderful places. Russ, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, buddy, and we'll speak to you as you go throughout the season.
Yeah, man, thank you very much, and I'll try not to be hungover the next time.
Awesome. Good luck to your Bucks today, buddy. Enjoy the Pigskins
Thanks,
Sunday.
man.
Well,
and you enjoy the Jets. It's been a while since
Yes.
you've seen your team with this much enthusiasm around it.
I know. I'm looking forward to kicking Simon's rear end, so keep an eye on Twitter for the banter on there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to watching you.
It's going to be interesting year. I really don't know what I'm going to get. I really don't. It's
well, you know you're not getting Geno Smith.
Well, yeah, and I don't really know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just a confused Jets fan at the moment.
Mate, that's pretty much what we do as Bucks fans every year. So
awesome. I'll hit you up for some advice later on as to how to deal with being a confused Pigskin fan.
Yeah, and Martin's going to need that soon as well, because his 49ers are definitely on the way down.
He can join us in the misery stakes, can't he?
Oh, can you believe that Simon's going to be the happiest as a Browns fan? That's just...
That is a depressing sort of notion, and I think with that we should call it quits.
Take it easy, man. Speak to you soon.
All right, Russ, take care, buddy. Appreciate you coming on.
Man.
Thanks. Bye, Russ.
Bye.
There we have it. That was your fantasy news via the wee man Russ. So again, as I did mention, hit him up on Twitter at Dundee NFL 4th Down and Out podcast. And guys do some fantastic work there. So any sort of last minute questions you've got. And as Russ was saying there, Cam Newton, Greg Olsen look like good starts. Ruben Randall for the Giants. He has a few questions over Peyton Manning's up and coming performance. And he also mentioned Crowell running back wise. Like I said, more information, head on over to at Dundee NFL on Twitter. Right then, this week's Hot Route has pretty much come to an end now. Twitter's dried up, and I will let you know that the Gronkowski touchdown was this week's favourite via you guys. So everyone that voted for this week's Hot Route, really, really appreciate that. We'll be back next week as well with the Hot Route. So again, if you want to join in, live, tune in, Spreaker, feel free to do so. We also have the Fan versus Fan. I'm just going to check on Twitter for any last minute sort of votes and give the winner of that back. That seems to have gone a little quiet now. I've got the last 30 seconds before I shut down the voting on Fan versus Fan. So the hashtag Tom for the Cardinals or hashtag Robert for the Saints. And guys, if you are listening, stand by your Skype accounts. I'm going to give the winner of that feature a ring back in the upcoming moments, and then we are going to round out the show with the last minute news from Tom from Huddle. So if you're worried about a variety of injuries or anything like that, drop us a line within the chat room or at Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. Right then, yeah, so that's the votes done. So like I said, Fan versus Fan. If you want to be in, if you want to play Fan versus Fan next week, hit me up at Zone Coverage FS. I'm going to drop I'm going to drop a line to the winner now if I can find them on my Twitter. So bear with me. I need to sort me stuff out here. So I'm now about to call the winner. So here we go. Hopefully we have everyone online and we can connect with the winner straight away. It does tell me that I am ringing, so that is always good. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Mark.
congratulations, sir. You are the winner of Fan vs. Fan Week 1.
I'm honoured.
Good man, good man.
Honoured. What a good victory.
Yeah, it was a decent victory, to be fair. There's a few votes coming in. I think you've probably got the added benefit of being a regular within the chat room, so there's plenty of support there. But good stuff, mate.
Well, hopefully the team can follow my lead.
I was just going to say, in all fairness, there is a very, very good record. Whoever seems to win Fan versus Fan, their team does go on and win.
Well, there we go then. I'm
So,
hoping we can...
That's like a basic. We could sell this as an advert for the feature, because remember, I think it was last year, the Cowboys, we had Nicholas on a couple of times. The Cowboys kept winning and winning and winning until they bumped into the Packers.
Yeah.
But we won't mention that. So, Robert, any sort of last-minute thoughts on the game then? How are you going to be watching today? What are your plans for the first Sunday back?
I'm just going to be watching it on my laptop, probably. I'll probably find somewhere to watch it. I don't think any of the UK channels are watching it, so I'll find someone on the internet showing it. So I'll watch it on the internet somewhere. And I don't know, I'll probably be sitting here in my Saints jersey, just acting all stupid, shouting at my laptop, probably.
Yeah, I think I'll be joining you on that one. Little does the wife know that in an hour, 15 minutes, I will be taking over the TV and she'll be relegated to reading her iPad.
Oh,
That's going to be an interesting one. Robert,
sure.
It's an absolute pleasure for you taking part on the show, mate. I know you've been with us from the very beginning. So I appreciate all the support and everything in regards to that, and for coming on today. And hopefully we can get you back on, either talking just Saints in general or on Fan versus Fan later down the line, if you like.
Yeah, whatever, yeah. I'll be happy to do that.
Awesome. Robert, absolute pleasure, buddy. What's your Twitter handle again, Robert, if you want to give that out, get some Saints fans your way?
Robert Godat.
Robert
Godat. Geuxdat.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Appreciate that, Saints fans. Connect with Robert. And Rob, I appreciate your time, buddy. Enjoy Pigskin Sunday.
Yes, then you too.
Will do. Catch you later, buddy.
Bye.
And there we have it. Our first winner is Robert. So again, if you want to be on Fan versus Fan, hit me up, Zone Coverage FS on Twitter, and you can even drop me a line in the chat room if you want. So that would be very much appreciated. We are now going to get to the last minute news with Tom from Huddle. So just going to drop him a text, make sure that he is ready. We will then get Tom on. I think we're going via Skype with Tom here. So we'll set up Skype again, and then we'll close out with the last. I've got a couple of games to go through as well, so if I've not read out your team yet and what I think of your team going forward, I will get to that in the upcoming moments. First of all, we will catch up with Tom from Huddle Magazine, if I can find him on Twitter. Yeah, he's good, so yeah, we'll give him a bell now, so hopefully we'll have Tom on the line. Packed show today. It's been good fun. I enjoyed this. It's been good fun back. It tells me that we are ringing. I'm waiting for that little connection noise. Hello, Tom.
Hello, mate. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. If we struggle, I can drop to the mobile if you like.
Okie dokie, mate. No, I'm fine with the Skype. It's just with last week's shenanigans, I thought I would check that you could hear me this time.
I have been, do you know what I've been doing this last week? I've made the wife sit in the front room. I'm in like the spare bedroom. I've changed back to my old system, and she's been ringing me from that room just so I could get everything bang on for today.
So some intense technological testing's gone into ensuring that this week's show happens.
Yeah, and we haven't, touch wood, we haven't dropped a call on Skype. I managed to get two on at once, so it's all good. We had a phone call up into Scotland.
So okay. So all's going well until you try and call the sunny southeast, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so as far as zone coverage goes, this is a triumphant return to regular season, if you minus my stumbling nonsense, that is.
This is a technical win.
Yes, a technical win. I don't think we've ever had one of those.
Yeah.
Right then,
I don't know.
Buddy, what have you got for us today? What's been happening around the course of the wonderful world of Pigskin over the last 90 minutes, near enough?
Well, as I say, I've got plenty of news, as always. Lots been going on. And I think you sent me some homework, which I saw. Yes. I heard something out earlier on. Alshon Jeffrey was listed as questionable. He will play today.
Awesome.
So that is my homework. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, yeah.
Hello.
Oh, dear, this is not good. It says,
hello.
It does say we've got a connection problem, Tom. I shall ring you via the mobile. We cursed it, didn't we? We had to go and curse it. You had to open your big gob, and that was that. Tom, I'm going to give you a bell on the mobile, so hopefully we can get you on via that. The joys. Right, we are ringing you now, Tom, so stand by your mobile, buddy. We asked for that one. We certainly did. Right, we're getting nothing. Oh, here we go. It's ringing. We have a ringing tone.
Hello, mate.
Hello, that's better.
Back to the old style.
Yeah, as I was saying, even in the chat room, Terry says, so close to a perfect show.
Yeah, it's like a perfect game. You get so close and then it just doesn't happen. So
we basically fumbled on the 2-yard line.
Yeah, we have. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the Zone Coverage football show if there wasn't a little bit of drama at the end.
No, it wouldn't. We one thing we do not excel in is in technological perfection.
I think we should just stick to the mobile each week, in all fairness, and then we'll cut this rubbish out.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea.
That's the way forward. A week one commitment to the mobile phone technology.
Yeah. We have a live production note. Ring mobile.
Yeah. Back to my notes and back to Alshon Jeffrey, who will play, as I said to you. Eddie Roll's also expected to play, and the Packers will turn to strong safety Sean Richardson with Marlon Burnett out, as well as Randall Cobb's been listed as probable with his shoulder, but he will play some game time today.
Cool.
In Seattle, St. Louis, Benny Cunningham will be the lead back for the Rams. Trey Mason was out running with Jeff Fisher, but is now listed as not going to play today. So if you've got Trey Mason, I know a few people were asking in the chat room about Trey Mason. He's not playing now, and Benny Cunningham will take the load. Todd Gurley also inactive today. And apparently Tevin Austin will line up to run the ball a little bit as well too. So watch out for a little bit of Tevin Austin doing a bit of a running back cameo.
I would imagine if Benny Cunningham, you could probably pick him up off your waiver wire if you're quick now, and I'm on the show, so anyone in my league could really take advantage of that.
Well, this is the big thing that's being discussed at the moment. I mean, I've seen a lot of tweets on Twitter about this, and that generally is the thing. You could pick Benny Cunningham up right now, and you know he's going to get a lot of the carries today. The talk was if Trey Mason played, that Benny Cunningham would still have. But it's a recent news, literally minutes before I came on to you, that Mason won't play now. So Benny Cunningham's definitely going to get most of the ball. The big news in Washington is RG3, who is listed as inactive. His face is on the his face is on the ticket, Washington's tickets for the Week 1 game. He's listed as inactive, so he will not play today. And during the week, he's been playing with the scout team as safety. So RG3's fall from grace is with the scout team at the moment. So a lot of talk around his contracts and what would happen if he got hurt playing for the scout team. I think I remember a figure of $16 million being quoted for what Washington would be in the hole if he was to be injured playing as a scout team. So a big risk there, but that's kind of the only news coming out of Washington, who obviously face Miami today. Indianapolis, Buffalo, Sammy Watkins, Percy Harvin, and Robert Woods will all be goals for the Bills. Shady McCoy is going to take most of the loads in terms of the running game. Not all of it, but most of it. So Shady McCoy could be a good shout for a running back as well. Robert Mathis has undergone 10 surgeries to prevent an infection in his Achilles healing, but he's listed as not active today, so he won't play. And Charles Clay, who was battling an injury, he will play today. So lots of changes in the Indianapolis-Buffalo game. Your New York in Cleveland, nothing really coming out about the Jets today. You've not heard anything about the Jets, but from Cleveland, Dwayne Bowe's inactive. Justin Gilbert, he's also inactive, but Barkevius Mingo will play.
Ah, interesting.
KC Houston, Arian Foster's obviously out, but the news coming out of Houston at the moment is that he's running around and he's making hard cuts.
Wow.
So in terms of recovery time, perhaps the recovery time that's been stated is now looking to be a little bit over optimistic. Extended to what they're thinking it's going to be. So making hard cuts. That's obviously good in terms of his recovery. For Kansas City, Eric Fisher is not expected to start today. Jared will play at defensive end in place of him. And Dontari Poe, who was listed as probable, is expected to play as well.
That's a big addition for their man. Dontari Poe, fantastic player.
Yeah, that's big for Kansas City, getting Dontari Poe to a position where he'll play. I don't think he's going to be a massive part of the game, so he's going to take some of the reps, but obviously he's going to manage that process and that injury. New Orleans, Arizona. Only real news there is that Michael Floyd's set to return from his three-finger dislocation, so the Cards will see Michael Floyd play today. In San Diego, Ladarius Green is still not cleared to play. He was expected to be a game-time decision, but I've not heard anything about him, so I wouldn't think that he's going to play, because you would have thought we'd have heard something by now. Tennessee, Tampa Bay. Lewis Murphy will play in place of Mike Evans. It's kind of a to and fro at the moment, because this was something that was said earlier on today, but now Evans is saying that he's optimistic that he'll get reps. It was listed as a game time decision, and they're still kind of to and fro on what's going to happen with him. So Evans might play a bit, Murphy might play a bit. Who knows? That's a one to watch, and I like to usually be more definitive with my news than that, but unfortunately the Tampa Bay Bucks are not being very definitive in what they're telling people, so I can't really go with much more than they tell us. And the last thing on the Baltimore-Denver game, Gary Kubiak and Peyton Manning's relationship. Reports coming out that Manning's struggling to adjust to the Kubiak relationship, mainly because Manning's used to calling all of the plays, calling all the shots, and that's not how Kubiak runs his offense. So there's kind of a strain there as they adjust to playing with each other in terms of developing that scheme. I saw a stat quoted on Twitter just before I came on that Manning in the last two Super Bowls has passed 60 and 63% of the time, and that in his entire career a Kubiak offense has only passed once that amount. So, that's maybe where that strain on that relationship's coming from, that perhaps Peyton doesn't feel as though Kubiak's playing to his strengths.
That could be Brock Osweiler time.
Say again?
Could be time for Brock Osweiler.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying that Osweiler's very much in the development with Kubiak. They're putting a lot into him, and obviously Manning's age is now starting to play a massive factor in Denver, and it's looking as though Kubiak's perhaps moving towards developing Osweiler. So, if that relationship continues to be strained, and Manning can't perhaps get is expected of him, we might see a little bit of Osweiler maybe, but I don't think we'll see too much of him today. I think that's probably something we'll chat about as the season goes on.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's
awesome.
Everything news-wise. A very quiet week one, I have to say, but I'm sure it won't stay that way for long. I'm sure by next week there'll be all sorts going on.
Yeah, it'll be utter madness before we know it, mate. A quick plug for Huddle. I know we had you on last week, but in case we picked up some new listeners along the way, Huddle magazine came out last week, was it?
Yeah, we had an issue of the magazine out a couple of weeks ago. We've got another one out in a couple of weeks. We're a monthly magazine, so one always on the horizon. Main thing we're plugging right now is that we have a season pass, which will cover you right from the next issue through to the February issue, which is the season review issue, so inclusive of our Super Bowl issue. That's basically priced at the price of 5 issues, and you'll get the 6, so it's great value. Get over to our website, huddlemagazine.com, to get hold of that. You can get it in either print or download, so you can have it posted to you, or you can download it to any sort of device that you want to download it to that's convenient for you. And in that, as part of the sign-up process, if you sign up to Season Pass, you'll be entered into a draw. We've not announced this yet, so this is kind of an exclusive for you. You'll be signed up to a draw, and the winner of that draw, purchasing a Season Pass, will be getting an NFL jersey for their team.
Awesome. So that's cool.
You'll choose your NFL jersey, so pretty good value. If you're the winner of that and you've paid, say, £15 for a download Season Pass, you've just put in, haven't you? So
yeah,
get over to the website and get signing up for that.
Brilliant. Right, that's about it then, Tom. I'm a couple of minutes from wrapping up week 1 of the show. Thanks for coming on board, providing us with the last-minute news. And everyone listening, get over to huddlemagazine.com, sign up for your season pass there, chance to win a jersey. Excellent stuff, Tom.
Okay, mate. Thanks very much for the time. Thanks, everyone, for listening. As I say, I'm off to watch my Jaguars in an hour's time. So if you want to get on Twitter and hit us up, it's at Huddle Magazine, and I'll be chatting to people throughout the evening, no doubt. So have a good one. Enjoy week 1. Thanks, Mark.
Awesome.
Enjoy your game.
I will do, Tom. All the best to your Jags, buddy, and I'll speak to you throughout the course of this evening.
Okay, mate. Catch you later.
Buddy, take
Bye.
care. Speak soon. And there we have it, last minute news via Tom there. So we have a packed show today, so really appreciate everyone listening. Got a couple of games to run through before we go. I'm not just going to leave you in the lurch. So game preview wise, I think we got to Titans at the Bucks, 9:25 kickoff tonight. This is a matchup between the number 1 and the number 2 pick, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, go head to head. It's a game I want to revisit, to in fairness. Definitely one I want to watch. Winston's got the weapons, but he has a bit of an inferior O-line. Well, Austin Seferian Jenkins emerged as his safety blanket. Can the muscle hamster, good old Doug Martin, recapture some of his early career form? Then for the Titans, you've got Titan Delaney Walker. He was nothing short of sensational last year. A very under the radar kind of guy because of how poor the Titans were throughout the course of the season. And they also took a risk with a second-round pick with Darrell Green Beckham. All the talent in the world, but can he stay clean off the field? A lot of sort of issues surrounding this young kid. So talented, but a bit of a pain in the rear end. It'd be interesting to see his transformation into the NFL in 2015. Next up, Bengals Raiders. This Raiders defense on paper has the potential to be one of the best in the league. Khalil Mack, Sale Moore, now Alden Smith. It's a formidable front seven, and they're going to have to be at their best in all fairness, because they're going to have to cover up the shortcomings of this secondary. It's been a poor unit over the course of the last few years. Amari Cooper, if you've been watching him in pre-season, he has just showcased his talent. I keep mentioning it week after week. Search for vines of Amari Cooper. It's absolutely unreal. He's just go. Amari Cooper, watch this game back. If it's not Raiders aren't your team or the Bengals, watch it back at a later date. Get your Amari Cooper fix. We also get Derek Carr, sort of flashed huge potential last year, but the hype train sort of got a little carried away with him. He was good, but he wasn't as good as the papers and the media made him out to be. I'm not saying he was rubbish. He had moments, but he wasn't. We kind of put him on a pedestal that I don't quite think he was on yet. For me, personally, he's still got a lot to prove. Don't get me wrong, he's talented. I like what I see. What I didn't see, what people were seeing or raving about, if you know what I mean. On to the Bengals, Geno Atkins. He looks set to be back to his usual dominant form. Mentioned it on the show a few weeks ago. Gio Bernard, Jeremy Hill, one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL backfield-wise. The issue, Andy Dalton, can he overcome his failures? Well, mainly when the spotlight's on him. If he's not on the Sunday night game, the Monday night game, the Thursday game, or the playoffs, he's decent. He does a good job. The lights are on him. It all goes down the drain. But it'll be interesting to see how they get on. I actually see the Bengals winning the AFC North. I believe that they will finally get over this playoff hump. The Ravens and Broncos is your late game on Sky. Former Ravens offensive coordinator Kubiak takes on his former team. Now the head coach of the Broncos, obviously. Manning and Kubiak, as Tom was touching on there. Be interesting to see how they get on their new system. Talking of new systems, the Ravens, new system under offensive coordinator Mark Trestman. How will that be? The lines, O-line and D-line for the Ravens have always been pretty stout. Secondary is a bit questionable, not overly keen on the offense of the Ravens. However, Steve Smith is siding off. He sails off into the sunset. Quite sad, really, that it's the last sort of year I'll be able to watch little angry Steve Smith, one of my favourite players in the NFL. I do hope he has a fantastic year and he stays injury-free, because it'll be a fantastic cap to his amazing career. So all the best to Steve Smith throughout his final year in the NFL. You've been a joy to watch, little man. The Broncos, defensively, one hell of a defence. Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Shane Ray. And stat-wise, Denver Broncos have won 18 of its past 20 home openers. And if Peyton Manning throws for 309 yards, he will surpass Brett Favre's total of 71,838 yards and will also become the second player in history to have over 70,000 career yards passing. On then to your Giants Cowboys, all eyes again. We keep going on about this. Who's going to carry the rock? The Giants secondary is an absolute mess. Prince Akamura, Dominic Rogers-Cromartie, they don't exactly set the pulses racing when it comes to the lockdown corner stakes. I expect Des Bryant and co to have a massive game against this Giants secondary. On the flip side of this, we could see the best of Eli. He's going to be playing from behind another year under this Ben McAdoo offensive system. Beckham, Cruz sits this one out. Ruben Randall, we've mentioned. Larry Donnell, tight end. They could keep it close. And this contest features two of the NFL's most successful teams in season openers. The Cowboys have a .667 winning percentage. They are 36-18-1. That's the highest of any team in NFL history, while the Giants have a .576 winning percentage in week 1, and that ranks 5th all times. Also, the Giants have the 3rd most wins in kickoff weekend with a total of 49. On then to your Monday night games, both on Sky. The Eagles-Falcons 12:20 on Sky. Chip Kelly's offense. This collection of running backs, Sam Bradford. It's a large collection of NFL, I put cripples, so that may be a bit harsh, injury-prone players. Who's going to buckle first, the opposition's defense or the Eagles' injury-bit team? But joking aside, though, this team has run at a devastating pace throughout the off-season. The question I've got surrounding the Eagles is, can this defense hold up for the Eagles? With the offense being so potent, so fast, this defense is going to be on the field for a long, long time. So can they hold up? Falcons-wise, it's a new era for the Falcons now. Dan Quinn in as head coach, offensive coordinator Cal Shanahan. Expect to see a more heavy run team. Rookie Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman. Offensively, this team has some exceptional weapons, but that line still has its question marks. So Desmond Trufant, cornerback for the Falcons, one of the most underrated corners in the NFL. Keep an eye out. This, for me, has the potential to be a shootout if both of these offenses get firing. Defense is questionable. Could be a very interesting one. And your last game, the last game of the week, is the 3:20 a.m. Monday night / Tuesday morning on Sky. Vikings at 49ers. There's a lot been made about the 49ers losses this season, but one of the highs has to be the story of rugby star Jared Hayne. He made the 53-man roster, so that is fantastic news. Interesting to see how he gets on. Colin Kaepernick we've talked about. Vernon Davies, how will he... Well, those guys step up. We have new head coach Tom Sula, new defensive coordinator in the form of Eric Mangini. That defensive unit, it's lost some pieces, but the return of Navarro Bowman, who looked really good in the preseason. For the Vikings, we have Teddy, the gloved wonder, Bridgewater. He was amazing down the stretch last year. Can he carry his end of 2014, momentum into 2015? There's this guy called Adrian Peterson. He apparently is a decent running back. He returns to the team, however, read whatever you want to in that. They've also added Mike Wallace as a deep threat. Jarius Wright, we mentioned, he'll probably be a household name by the end of 2015 with Jarius White. And again, I rave about secondaries and stuff and under the radar guys. Safety Harrison Smith, one of the best in the business, and these corners for the Vikings are no slouches as well, so that could be an interesting game. And that concludes the season premiere of Zone Coverage Football Show. I'm exhausted. I've been talking for 100 minutes, borderline. It's been a fun, packed show. A massive thank you to everyone in the chat room today. It's gone absolutely berserk. A massive thank you to Tom, representing the Cardinals on Fan vs. Fan. Robert, representing the Saints on Fan vs. Fan. Everyone that voted on this week's Hot Route. All of you guys that voted on the Fan vs. Fan. Everyone in the chat room. Everyone that's tweeted. Everyone that's just been in touch today. Twitter's gone mad. Text. To the guys over at Dundee NFL for providing you with some fantasy insight, to Tom at Huddle Magazine to giving you the last minute news. You guys have made it a fantastic show. Really appreciate it. And if this is the first time you've caught the full season format, this is how we roll throughout the season now. Do you have your regular features? If you want to be part of the show, hit me up at Zone Coverage FS, Zone Coverage Football Show. ZoneCoverageFootballShow@mail.com is the email address, I do believe. I am off to chill out for a bit before the games. I'll be on Twitter Give me half an hour or so to calm down from all this and find my feet, and I will converse with you. All that's left to say, folks, enjoy Pigskin. Don't be a keyboard warrior on Twitter. It's week 1. Don't worry. It'll all be good. There's 15 more games to go. You watch, I'll be the biggest keyboard warrior going. That aside, thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Once you see everything, iTunes, Stitcher, retweet and all that, be very much appreciated. I'll see you next Sunday. Hit me up, Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. Enjoy week 1. All the best, guys. And remember, hustle, hit, and never quit. Today's show is brought to you by ZoneCoverageFootballShow.com. If you're missing the live shows, then fear not, as you'll find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and now YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us some feedback. And until next Sunday, hustle, hit, and never quit.